Podcast for the curious mind. I don't know what that means.
Broadcasting live from a German-made microphone deep within the multifamily bunker. I am Corey with co-host Devin, May, and special guest Robert. How's everyone doing today?
I'm doing great. How's everybody doing?
As my 3-year-old would say.
May has what you got a bunch of crap going on, bud.
I got wisdom teeth coming in, and
the woman abandoned the kids with you on show day, which we'll have to send her a notice on that. I'll yell at her later for you.
I mean, I told her it was coming. It's just
goddamn woman trying to make work. That's fucking ridiculous. Rob is
church.
Yeah,
it's drop off. Hey, go read the Bible for a few hours. Yeah. Fine. Daddy will be back to get you.
We're doing the moon landing today.
Fake or real?
Say what now?
Fake or real?
Well, I think that's
real.
I think that's.
Well, it really was faked. So.
No, it wasn't faked.
Wow,
that shit happened.
It wasn't.
Who?
Nope.
Yeah, according to who?
Yeah.
Let's see what you got.
I don't want to.
Straight from the government himself.
Yeah. Like a good little Marine.
Man, fuck you. You see my
Daddy never lied to me.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers, there's space is real. Let's get that out of the way.
Okay.
We're not
going there.
Calm the fuck down.
And the fact that we were all bamboozled. That's where we're headed.
No.
What do you mean no? God damn it. The government is a lying sack of dick bags that just lie to us constantly. They pull the skin over our eyeballs every time.
That's interesting.
Skin.
A lot of passion going on immediately. I love it.
Well, it's like I said, it pisses me off.
Now May's been
diaper. I've had to. I can't even speak. But yeah,
May's been doing this research for what, a month now, May? About a month,
something like that. Yeah.
It's interesting, and I'll let you go. But the reason why we're doing the moon landing, whether it happened or not, is because I think in 1999 they did a poll, and they asked people if they thought the moon landing was a hoax, and it was like 2% of people said they thought it was a hoax. And then they did the same survey 20 years later, and it's now up to 20% of Americans believe that the moon landing never happened. Now, Devin believes the moon. You believe the moon landing happened. You think we went there in 1969?
Yep.
Landed on the moon. Got to sit there and watch it happen. Were you alive?
I wasn't
that time?
fucking born then. Just calm down.
You were in Daddy's nutsack.
Yeah, I was
the rest
still.
Of us.
Yeah.
Now we have. What is your official title? Are you like Gen Z? Is that what you are, Rob?
I am in. Yeah, I was gonna say my parents weren't even born during the moon landing, so I wasn't even in the nutsack yet.
He was at God's fingertips.
I was like a principle, like an idea yet to be manifested.
Have you ever considered the moon landing? I'm curious to get the Gen Z perspective.
We don't really think about it, to be honest. I think Gen Z kind of doesn't care about anything in general. So our thing is like, if we did go, cool. If we didn't, I don't really fucking care. Whatever. This world's pretty fucked up anyway. So,
well, no offense, like that's kind of the mindset you have to have anymore because it's like it's just too. If you worry about the macro too much,
I'll be an open third party.
Overtakes you. Yeah,
whoever presents the better argument.
Well, that's kind of where I'm at, to be honest with you. Is frustrated right down the middle. I mean, it's at this point, it's like I could really give a flying fuck because it's so aggravating. Just I don't know, with pictures and then the characters you meet and then or you research and look into. I mean, it could all be just a gathering of who's he said, she said of just best friends or not even best friend, but just it's just wild.
I'll do my best. Wrong, but the original moon landing, the whole point was just to flex our missile technology, right?
Yes. And it
Didn't
was,
even-
you know,
Like,
beat
getting to the
Russia there
moon didn't
because,
really matter. It was more just like,
well, back then, you know, you still could lay claim to shit.
Yeah.
Hey, we're here first. This is our island. You
so
know
we
what I
technically
mean?
still is the moon a state then?
No, but I think the U.S. really just wanted to beat him there in case Russia would say, "Oh, no, the moon is ours now." You know what I mean? Kind of bullshit.
Well, I mean, in that time, I mean, what the Soviets, they were kicking the United States butt in a lot of that. I mean, what they do? They sent
They beat him to
the
space.
first woman in space in 1963. They sent the first animal up. They had the first spacewalk in 65. So the Soviet Union was pulling that out and just showing them in public, hey, you know, we need to be taken serious. And then the United States, I think, you know, if, you know, they want to be number one, you have to be number one. We have to be the most powerful. We have to be the most technologically
Yeah, it was the Cold
savvy
War.
going forward. Yeah. Like, we're not going to let some podunk bitch Soviet Union fucking put us in our place.
Do you ever see the documentary of like how we actually did beat them? And it really actually just came down to the engines of the rockets. The Russians actually had like a fault in it, which wasn't allowing them to get the trajectory speed enough to actually reach the moon, and that's why we ended up beating them.
Well, they reached the moon first.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Who
reached the moon. The Russians did. It was just unmanned.
Oh no!
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah. They sent, and that's the whole thing is, and it's the rabbit hole you go down is, you know, do I believe something went to the moon? Sure. 100%. I'll buy into that. Unmanned went to the moon. Manned did not go to the moon. Men, women, animals, dogs, ponies, zebras, anything never has been on the moon.
What about the guy that hit the golf ball?
Oh, what? Nothing has been on the moon besides what probes.
In your opinion?
In my opinion. In my opinion.
In my opinion, it happened.
Now I'm
More
curious.
than once.
I'm curious as to why that's your opinion.
Because it's fucking proof.
But what proof? Like what? What do you have? Doctor
The Japanese
pictures of
sent that
NASA?
fucking probe and proved that there had been moon landings in like 2008 or something.
The what? The what did?
Japanese. Let me see if I can.
Yeah, we didn't
See,
bomb them into.
I don't want to
submission.
do like
Yeah.
go, man. We'll talk.
Well, I don't know. Because I don't have really clips. I just have notes. I have clips that we've talked about, but I don't know.
I can pull up.
I
clips while you
understand like
talk.
people's take on like the lunar,
Okay.
like when you actually look at the photos of those like vehicles, you're like that landed on the moon.
Well,
You
that's
know
what
what I
I
mean? I get
found.
that
That's
to
what
a
I found
point.
interesting,
Well,
right?
yeah,
Is
Buzz Aldrin said they were mostly animated. All the stuff on it.
I actually looked that up. He was talking about he wasn't actually talking about what he was talking about was when the news was showing how they were going to get onto the surface. That's what he was talking about. He didn't mean the whole thing was animated.
The broadcast was animated when
Yeah.
they
No, what
landed
he's saying
when
is
they
like
landed
you
on
know
the
when you
moon.
see him landing, yeah, that was animated. But he's like them actually getting out and walking on it. That's legit.
That wasn't shown on the broadcast. That was
No.
shown later,
yeah.
way later. That wasn't shown on live TV.
All right then, but still, it
No,
happened,
I'm just saying. That's let's get the facts out there first. What Buzz Aldrin was talking about, because that was the Conan interview, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which got flagged on TikTok, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. I noticed that too. Like you could find it and it was there and then it was gone and then it was really weird.
I can share an article with you about it. I found.
Okay. I like it back and forth. I mean, it's just like I said, I found this super interesting because you're gonna have characters in this whole thing. You're gonna have your three astronauts, Neil, Collins, Buzz, to set the stage, and then you've got like just the amount of rabbit holes you can go down. I think was my favorite part on this because you dove down and I never came up for air because it was like. That it never really ended. You know what I mean? Usually you kind of get bored or, it just, you can kind of put a pin in it. But this was like, oh shit, I can just keep going and keep going. And a lot of it, I think, is just, it's tough. I don't know.
Well, you gotta understand too, like the time frame, because the time frames, the mentality is the most important part to establish
Yeah.
what people's mentality was during this whole space race. Because First of all, Russia helps us win World War II, and then immediately turns into enemy number one right afterwards, right?
Yeah.
And the whole argument is what? Capitalism versus communism,
Yes.
right? Capitalists can do more, can go farther than communists can. That was the whole ideology. If you have a free market, people are going to be able to produce better things than if you were under a state of fear. And
Yeah.
all of a sudden, Stalin gets rid of weekends, and it's just 5-day weeks for 10 years. And by the end of that, in the 60s, they have better rockets. They have pushed out Sputnik, which Sputnik was like a huge blow to America, because when Sputnik went up, and Sputnik was just like an orbiting satellite, it wasn't even anything that special. But the fact that they could get it up there and it was rotating around the Earth, and at the same time, we talked about how the CIA had just been built into operation through that show, Operation Shaver.
Yeah.
And so the amount of information, the amount of desire to obtain information from the opposing world power at that time was huge, right? There was spies everywhere. Everyone's trying to hack into other people. And now the Russians have an actual space program that's effective and can take pictures wherever it wants, because it's out in space, circling the globe or the Earth.
Yeah, and I think that was that was the United States' biggest worry was the nuclear missile strike, right? I mean, they wanted to be prepared and protected from that. I think, you hit that right on the head.
Yeah, they now have the rockets available to shoot out into space, and if they wanted to attach a nuke head on it and then drop it on the U.S., they had the capabilities.
Yeah.
Which we were, at that time, I can't remember what the program was we were running for our space program, but we literally could not get anything to fire off like that.
No. What in the mid 60s, NASA was consuming more than 4% of the U.S. federal budget and still getting their ass kicked. I mean, big chunks of taxpayer money was going to NASA, and they, like Corey said, they just couldn't get it off the ground. Couldn't get it into the Earth's atmosphere. You know what I
We've all
mean?
been there before.
So,
If you ever listen to that speech that Kennedy gives about "we're going to the moon,"
yeah,
it's a motivator for sure.
yeah. But also, I like the rabbit hole that he could have been assassinated with the whole moon. That could have been a small part in it. I found interesting was, he knew.
The conspiracy theorists,
we
bro,
weren't gonna go.
Yeah, there's no end for conspiracy theorists. They'll keep
It was
going.
wrap JFK into every conspiracy theory. It was the
Yeah.
CIA and NASA and the Russians.
Just
I don't think it was NASA. It was just
So you never know.
No, I mean,
Have you ever been to a Kennedy Space Center? Anybody besides me?
Cape Canaveral?
I've been
Yeah.
close to it.
No.
I went there. It's
Florida.
really cool. You should check it out if you go there, because almost the whole thing is just a big museum about going to the moon and the Saturn rockets that they used to get there. There's actually a piece of moon rock in there,
and it's fake.
allegedly, according to May.
Because
And
what they
a
do
million
is
people have touched it, because it's like you could touch it and it's just
Yeah.
I'm like,
Won't
that
that, like,
thing is
corrode
just
the
covered in garbage.
Wouldn't it just like corrode like awfully?
No, it's like it's so polished from everybody touching it. It's almost smooth like granite.
Yeah, like the oil would like destroy any sort of.
Yeah, but
Or,
like
like,
you
slowly
can
wear it
see,
down.
they have the spacesuits that some of the dudes wore, and it still has moon dust all over them. They actually
mean
have
concrete
they actually
powder?
have a couple of the capsules there from them coming back to fucking Earth in there. And that moon rock, and then those rockets are fucking massive.
So what about the petrified wood that they gave that former Dutch prime minister? That was
Oh,
a
yeah?
lunar rock. What happened to that? Was that one just left out?
Let's hear about it. What you got? What you
They
got?
didn't want to put that
Why would they
petrified
send
wood.
why would they send moon rocks to all these other countries that'd be like, oh, that's not a moon rock?
They
can
sent,
find that here on
in
Earth.
1970, they sent supposedly 100 countries this lunar
Okay.
rock, and the former
Nobody
Dutch
did.
prime minister. I don't remember his name. I don't. Wow.
Hushkendukenda.
Yeah, he when he died, they sent it to the museum, and the museum was like, "Hey, motherfuckers, this is a petrified piece of wood."
I will say,
I want to
that
see a
could also-
picture of
'cause-
it. Can I see a
well-
picture of this
Google
petrified
it.
piece from the Dutch? I'm like, how do you know they just didn't swap it?
I was like, if
The
they held
motherfuckers
on
got
to
the
it for his
original.
entire life, and then
Well,
they
now
sent it
who's the
back,
conspiracy theorist?
I'm
They
just
swapped
saying.
out the moon rock for
Yeah,
petrified
why would you?
wood?
Be like, swap it
Also,
out. They won't ever know the difference. I'm going to
if
give this
only
to my
one in
grandchild.
100 countries was like, "Hey, this is fake," the other 99 are like, "No, this is legit." They just got mixed up somewhere. Someone got some petrified wood.
Or bad.
Mailman's like, I know what this fucking is.
Sorry, Dutch.
Yeah.
That is odd. That came across that story too.
You don't
That
get
is
actual
odd. Why
moon
would
rock.
you? Why
Yeah,
would you?
because I
send
mean that
petrified
was
wood
the
to-
only that was into
They're going to go through all of this to bamboozle you that we went to the moon, and then they're going to send petrified wood to somebody.
Well, I don't
I
think
highly
we-
doubt
Usually-
that.
I
It's
don't think.
easily like discernible that it would not be even a rock if it's wood. Like any, I don't know what the exact type of science this is, but could easily take
I
a
don't
sample
think-
of that and distill what it was.
I don't think you guys are really like understanding the amount of fear that was being propagated in the '60s during the space race. You know what I
A
mean?
lot.
Like
take us there.
It's
Take us
not
there
like-
real quick.
Duck and cover. I'm
we've
sure.
been
yeah.
we've been an empire without a threat for what 30 years now, 35 years. Like
At that point,
since 91, since 89 technically. So 32 years, 33 years.
oh,
We
you
haven't
know,
had to worry about any type of we haven't had to worry about anything, really. We've pretty pushy life right now. But back then, I mean, the Soviet Union they were the superior country to us in their rocket. I mean, we talk about Operation Paperclip, where we picked up the Nazi scientists. Was it Warner Van Buren? I think was the guy's name.
Yeah, Van Buren. Yeah.
Yeah. So but that was the only guy we got. The Russians got all the other guys. That's why their rockets to this day are far superior than ours.
Yeah.
Their rocket technology is far superior to ours. So like to have them have those capabilities, and then to have JFK gave that speech, but before that, during his presidential debate with Nixon, I think didn't he go up against Nixon in '60?
Yeah, it was famous because
Yeah.
part of the reason JFK won is because he was better looking than Nixon because
Yes.
TV was coming in.
Yeah. Well, if you watch one of those debates, that's like one of the main questions they ask him during that. They ask him, well, what are we going to do about the whole Russian space program? And we literally have nothing. And that's what JFK. I'll see if I can find that video. Sorry, man, I didn't mean to talk over you.
No,
I'll go
you're
look.
good. That's what I need to paint the paint, because I didn't have any of that. I didn't really. I kind of didn't go that way with it. Because I'm trying to figure out how do I pull up some of this stuff, but what? Hold on. Let's see. What else do I have here? Let's see. That's Corey. You have I'm trying to think what clip that we should play. Someone just rant real quick. I'm sorry. This is a mess.
No, you're good.
So those goddamn liberals.
I was just looking at. I just wanted to look more at, while you're looking up that, just sort of the mentality that was going on with the Russians versus the Americans during that time, because I think that sets the precedent for why we would have faked a moon landing.
Yeah,
of
I
anything.
agree. Because it's like the fog of war.
Yeah,
Like,
if all the I mean, and we had I forget the first rocket program we had. The second one was Gemini,
Mhm.
right, where we just killed all those astronauts in that one, and that's never talked about. That happened in what, 1967, I think it was.
Well, is that before pre-launch when they freaking had a fire in there and they
Yeah, it just blew up.
came up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, did you see the thing about that being faked? A conspiracy theory within a conspiracy? Have you
Was
seen
it
that?
Gemini?
TikTok?
No.
Have you seen that TikTok video yet? Where
No.
that one that
Oh,
like
dear
caught
God.
fire.
Oh, you're
Well,
talking
there's
about
a-
Challenger, bro.
Or Challenger, yeah, my bad. Where it caught like fire, and they all.
And then
Oh,
there's
he
a
links
in
all the people to
2004?
some. Yeah,
so
he
like
linked
an existing person like with a career who would like matches like the age.
Oh yes,
and
I
they look
have
the
seen
same.
that. Yes, I
and
have.
they have
seen
a very similar name. Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
I've seen that.
Uh,
But no, the
Never let a
Gemini
good
space
desk-
program was their going to be their first mission to the moon.
mhm.
When it started in 1961, concluded in 1966.
The
It carried
Gemini
a
program.
yeah, it
Yeah, that
carried
was-
a 2-man astronaut crew. Over 16 individuals flew low Earth orbit missions during 1965 and 1966. And then when they tried to, I think it was the Gemini program, when they tried to go to the moon, and it blew up, killing all the astronauts in it. And then they started the Apollo program after that with the Saturn rockets.
Have you ever seen that movie First Man?
No.
It's a great movie about Neil Armstrong, but like it goes through the whole Gemini program first, and then their trip to the moon, etc., etc.
Do you know what he did before that?
Who?
Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong.
Neil was a test pilot, wasn't he? Pretty sure.
Fought in Korea War for the Air
Oh.
Force,
That's right.
which was the beginning of the MK Ultra project. So,
Right. Well, I understand like where you're coming from with the fear deal and why they, want to fake some stuff. That's like with like the Chinese and the Chinese space station and all that, and like how people are like, that's like you can tell it's fake. They're not really in a station. They're
Yeah.
using CGI and all that stuff. I mean, what would I believe that?
What was the one I
right?
shared
Like,
with the water that doesn't move? In the
right. Supposedly
yeah.
there's an explanation for that. I haven't really researched that at all because that is definitely sus. Like a glass,
what?
a glass
is
of
it?
Well,
water.
I
just
mean,
fucking
because
sitting there.
the cool thing, well, not cool, but like, what happens if it was all just, Russia, China, United States? They all know that it's all bullshit. And
They would
just let
come
your
out and
mind wander.
say it.
I know, but then they can't because if one lays down that trump card, the other trump card, and they all just make each other look bad. I think
There's
I
a
think-
chain of conspiracies.
it would be really neat to just think like Russia and China probably knew, hey, we can go as high as that dome that's around this country, lets us
Fuck,
go.
come on.
well,
No,
the
I'm
Van
just
Allen
saying.
belt.
Yeah, the Van Allen belt. You can't like the radiation numbers through that thing. I mean, that was the biggest thing is the radiation through that. If they were to go through that in the equipment that they had, what in the 60s was the equivalent to your mom's vibrator in her nightstand. It wasn't
I don't
powerful.
think that's
It wasn't.
true.
It wasn't strong. It wasn't anything.
I think the idea that like old stuff is way weaker isn't like because I mean they've had electricity for like over 100 years. I'm sure they could. It's
have
not
a
that hard to
whirl-
block radiation. You just
Yeah. I have a
But
whirlpool.
everything was too heavy. They could barely
Right.
get off the ground.
I still have my wife's our drink fridge in the garage that I have just for beverages. It's the same fridge that my wife had growing up. It's older than me, I think.
Yeah,
And
but
it
you're
just
talking
runs
about
like a champion.
you're not talking about something like that. You're talking about they had to balance it with getting things off the ground and enough
yeah. 'Cause this is
fucking
also when
thrust to shoot it through the atmosphere.
This is also when
And
they
then
did
not
Have you
only
seen
to
how
the
big those
atmosphere-
rockets are? They're fucking massive. And the little spot where those guys are sitting with the lunar modules like this fucking big compared to this fucking rocket that's like fucking massive.
But not only that, you also had to get through 30,000 miles of the Van Allen radiation belt, which, to give you an idea of the power of the Van Allen radiation belt, when what was the last space missions? The Discovery, was it Discovery? Those space shuttles, remember that sort of looked
Yeah.
like an airplane back
Yeah.
in the early 2000s? You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, the space shuttle program. That's what they called it.
Yeah.
Challenger, Discovery, and
None of
they actually have one in Kennedy.
none
Space
of
Center.
those spaceships have ever been able to get closer than 300 miles to the Van Allen belt.
Yeah.
And the Discovery space shuttle, when it got to within 150, the astronauts started saying that like when they were closing their eyes, they were getting little things going through their eyes, like
Yeah.
little white dots and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, they can start seeing the radiation.
Neil
So
and Buzz said they could see that shit.
they had to lower their orbit to get out of it.
Yeah.
Now that's 2000s technology. Now when they asked Buzz and Collins and Neil about that, there was no recollection at first. You watch those interviews, they're like Orion Belt,
Yeah. What?
and they're like, oh yeah, no, I do remember having to close my eyes, but yeah, it didn't bother us at all. But that doesn't make any sense.
Because the parts per million too, it was so like just a little bit of that Orion belt. If they would have absorbed that in, they would have died. You know what I mean? They like
No
radiation kills
no-
electronics and robots too. I mean, what? How's
Yeah, but
how's
no
their satellites
cancer,
made
like-
it past it?
those three don't have cancer at all. Like nothing.
No side effects from it,
Yeah.
nothing. And it's the only space program to go through the Van Allen belt. No other space program, Russian or American, have gone through the Van Allen belt.
Where is the Van Allen belt exactly? Is
So
it-
I think it's after 600 miles.
Show a diagram of it. Do you have a diagram?
Yeah, I can show the diagram of the Van Allen belt. But since the Earth has a magnetic core, it collects this radiation after 600 miles.
oh, so it's kind of where everything gets like shunted off to by
Yes.
the magnetic field.
Well, and two,
Yes.
because they sent up that whatever NASA sent up to get the simulation so they could kind of get it timed and figure out. They were sending reports back that the Van Allen belt was going to be at its worst peak during the Apollo 11 through it. As 11 was going to go through the belt was going to be when one of the few times that Van Allen belt was not toxic, but you know what I mean, like the strongest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this is Van Allen belt right here. If you guys
Is that
can
like
see
a little ring or the?
No, the whole thing. The whole
the big
thing.
one.
And these, so there's two. So the little ring is the first layer, and then this outer ring is the second layer of it.
And that's where all like the excess radiation that
Yes.
gets pushed
Yeah.
off there. I feel good. Okay.
And that's why they say the best place to truly, if you want to go to the moon, is the North and South Pole.
Because
I'm just looking at that photo, but you can't because
because Florida, you have to go through like the widest point of it.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. If you, I mean, just looking at that map, yeah.
So it'd be,
Yeah, but couldn't you just orient? Once you get into freaking orbit, can't you just orient yourself
no, because that is shoot
to the
through.
north and then go up? I'm
It's
just
got to
saying.
no, and that's not the path that was taken. The path that was taken was
What's
through
your
the thickest
stance?
part
They
of the,
can't. They didn't have the technology to go through. They clearly they
called
did
the
because they went there
Orion
like
Belt.
7 times.
and then never win again. And no one else has
Yeah,
ever
and
done
haven't
it.
been, yeah, and
There's no
haven't
reason
been.
to go there. What's your refute?
There's got to be.
What's your refute to the evidence that the moon rocks are older by about 200 million years than the rocks on Earth?
also the Van Allen radiation, like while it may be like strong, it's not even strong enough to cause like a visible light. So it could be possible that they had, the ability to shield from it. Like I don't think it's would be super crazy hard, especially because I think this is back when they were still like okay with using lead for stuff.
They
And
didn't
lead's
use
pretty-
any lead on that. There's
No
no lead
lead?
used. It was aluminum foil. That's what was
Okay.
used.
Well, aluminum
One
foil is like
layer of aluminum foil.
aluminum foil.
They said Pepsi cans were made of a stronger material.
Well, I mean, have you ever put aluminum foil in the oven and cook something in aluminum foil, and then you can grab the aluminum foil with your bare hands?
No.
And it's not hot. That's how much aluminum foil reflects.
It is crazy though, because you're talking 30,000 miles. You would think at some point.
But I mean, it's not going to degrade the aluminum foil. So I don't know. I mean, I could see them be able to shield from
That's
it.
one topic I didn't like actually research into. But
Well, and it was interesting because neither had Buzz Aldrin, Michael Collins, or Neil Armstrong researched it either. And you would
just
think,
because they went through it, like doesn't mean it would kill them.
It's
Like,
probably
yeah,
because
but you would think as
I think it's probably 'cause it's not
astronauts
a
they
big
would
deal.
known about the Van Allen belt. They didn't even pretend to know what it was.
well, if the
That's
race
what I
was
thought
that,
was
if
odd.
the race was that significant, do you tell the guys, yeah, you could potentially die from just going through the belt, or he's like, oh, let them go because we got to get
That's
to the moon
possible.
first.
That is possible.
they
Like,
probably
you
just
know.
didn't think it was. They were just like, "Fuck it, dude." Just didn't think it was a big deal.
Well, it's just like when X-rays first came out, you could go to the shoe store and have an X-ray taken of your foot, and like,
Well, they knew Van
like the
Allen belt
shielding
was
was
a big
terrible
deal.
in it, and people were getting sick from it.
They knew the Van Allen belt was a big deal because the guy that discovered it was from the University of Iowa. Boop, boop.
Named it after himself too. What a,
Atta
just-
boy.
Perfect.
what a dude!
I
What a
found it.
dude.
Yeah. And name it after
Yeah.
your daughter or something. You know?
Yeah.
Nope. Nate.
But I
me,
mean,
me.
Well, last name, that's not Jared
Yeah.
Belt.
Yeah, but like, what about like how
He
the
wasn't
moon
named
rocks
Van.
have been dated and they are older than Earth? The rocks ever found on Earth by about 200 million years.
Wait, what's up?
So
Old
the
rock?
rocks they brought back from the moon are on average 200 million years older than the oldest rocks on Earth.
That's interesting.
And it's also been proven by
Yeah.
Soviet, like their little Luna program brought back a rock, and it was closely matched in composition to the rocks brought back by NASA. And a rock brought back by Apollo 17 was dated to be about 4.417 billion years old, with a margin of error of plus or minus 6 million years. And the oldest rocks on Earth are like 4.3. Kill them, those kids. Having the greatest
Kids
conversation.
going ham in the background there.
Oh, that's fine.
Should we? I mean, okay. Let's talk about the stars then.
Okay.
So
Just
you got,
over the rocks.
huh? Yeah, I mean that's interesting. I didn't find anything on the rocks.
Okay.
I didn't. I'll
right.
give you a point for that. Like,
Point awarded.
yeah, I'll give you a point.
I
for
need a
that.
little bell. Can I get a bell?
But I mean, what I found interesting with the videos that I watched of it, of the moon landing, and then the photographs that you look into, and then the interviews given about the stars. Like they sat all three of them down, and Michael Collins and Neil Armstrong were like, I don't remember
What-
seeing stars when we were on the moon. And then they go back and forth. There's several times where they're just circling themselves, right? Like, oh yeah, we did see. Oh wait, no, wait, yeah, you're right. Michael Collins even put in his book, he's like, I can't remember if I saw stars or not. Like, there's too many little leaks in their stories where.
Yeah, but if he came out,
Should
and
you
said
be
it,
able
I
to
mean,
see stars though? I mean, you would think.
Oh no, it's because
You're-
there's no atmosphere.
well, the sun is also blinding on the side they were on. It wasn't like they were on the dark side of the moon. Were they? Or were they
Well,
on the dark side?
Michael Collins was orbiting
They couldn't have
around
been
the
on
moon.
Yeah.
He was the one going around the dark side of the moon while they were
Oh, so yeah, I
supposedly.
guess he should have been.
So
able
he
to. I don't
should have
know.
been able to see
Well,
stars.
no,
I
that's
don't know. If
actually-
you're up there, I mean,
What I've heard, and this is just what big government's told me, but apparently the atmosphere is what allows you to see stars. So as the light passes through the atmosphere and it's kind of like shaken up, it becomes almost like enhanced in a way and becomes
So
like
then-
bigger.
Yeah.
Why
Because
did
the
Well,
he
that's
say
what they
later
say.
on that
Yeah.
he did see stars.
That's also a
it's-
problem with human memory in general, which has been proven
Yeah.
multiple times. That human
well, like I
memory
said,
is
well,
very,
that's extreme environment too. You're just focused on not dying.
human
and you're on
memory
the
is
moon.
very like you can't really use it in court that well because of how it's been scientifically proven that human memory is very easily rewritten and forgotten.
MK Ultra.
Yeah.
Mhm,
Thank
for
God.
sure.
But I mean, the whole no atmosphere thing, that's, because I looked in that rabbit hole of explaining why there was no dust on the lunar module, and then there was no dust on the lunar modules for the other trips. Like, because they, when NASA sent their photos out and they were like, where are the tracks? Where's the burn crater from, where's like the
landing.
burn print? Yeah, from it landing. Like these photos that were taken. They like that's kind of what I got was, okay, was it doctored, but in whose favor? Because what they say, that thing was 10,000 pounds or 10,000 pounds of force coming down onto the moon. So shouldn't there be some kind of crater or reaction or anything under it? But when the photo was taken, the sandstone, there's nothing under it at all.
Yeah,
Well,
there's no-
10,000
there's no
pounds
divot.
or what?
What if the dust kicked up?
Like,
and then
how
just
wide
traveled
is that
back and
area
filled it in? You know what I'm
divvied
saying?
over?
Let me see if I can find a picture of the picture of it, because I think that give you an idea of the type of rocket that was on the landing module. Let's see here. You keep talking while I'm looking for it.
I just, and just other things, that they've only been able to, NASA's only been able to, out of their files that is, that they've lost or that they cannot, seem to find, only 20 photos of Apollo 11 mission, and those are the same 20 that just have supposedly been doctored or.
All right,
Well,
you
I
guys see
mean,
this one I'm sharing right here?
weight was an issue. They were trying to like
There's
limit.
no divot here. There's no divot from it landing.
Well, that's not where the divot would be. It would be on the legs.
No,
That's where the
because
force
this is
being dispersed.
Engine thrust would be
They
under.
yeah, they had to use the engine to make sure they didn't
Mm.
land too hard.
Okay.
And Buzz said
the
that was a concern because they thought that it would build such a huge crater that it would mess up the landing legs over here. And there's nothing. There's
What if that's
nothing.
fucking like solid rock though? I mean, it's not really gonna make anything. You know
So
what I'm
there's like
saying?
it's a it's a different color than the rest of it. It's almost more red and
Well,
brown.
brown.
If you look at it.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Like,
Well, that's
It might be like a very solid object that got scorched.
I always have
instead of-
problems with like picture evidence or video evidence. And it's
Well, this is
almost like how
NASA's
flat earthers-
pictures. This is
I
NASA's
understand.
pictures. So, like, I mean, we gotta establish some sort of common ground here. Like,
I understand.
let's
but,
look
like,
at the
whole-
pictures NASA showed us.
That looks legit.
Show the
to
video
me.
of
I'm
the
sorry. That doesn't look sus to me.
teletrim or God, use your words. Carry the
Ah,
speak.
it's doing it to you now. It's jump.
Take a breath.
God
It's
damn.
okay. You're doing good. You're doing good.
The painkiller.
And if anything, people just
Great
know that
champ.
they can't do math. So,
I can't do math.
well, that's
Um,
good. Most people
Not anymore, at least. Not after the last time.
coming from the meth capital over there, Robbie.
So I know what I'm talking about.
Corey, the video that we put together where they had lost all the footage. I mean, we could run some videos. I mean,
Okay.
a lot of it is just fascinating. I mean, because like Corey said,
Obviously,
we
none
gotta
of us-
find on some kind of common ground here. Because, like I said, the photos that NASA pushes out that have been doctored, there's
How
only
have they been
20 of
doctored?
them. There's only
How?
20 of them. NASA's
Motherfucker
come
got
out
one
and said
camera.
they've done everything to clean. So you're telling me that photo that Corey just showed?
How
that
long were they
picture
on the
quality?
moon for? I'm just saying. Huh?
Well, it's also because like our camera technology wasn't that good back then. And
Fuck
like
no.
storage, like storage especially was a big
Yeah.
problem.
It was
Like
fucking
our-
film.
Like what was
But
a
why-
floppy disk? Like 3 megabytes or something like that.
Oh yeah, it's so dumb. Hell, like
The things I think are odd, and I'll just say this is the thing I think is the most odd about the whole thing is that all of the footage was accidentally recorded over, so there's no master footage of it anymore.
somebody
Yeah,
was
whose
trying to record their
is
favorite
that?
porno or
Who accidentally records over the moon landing, the first moon landing? That's odd. That's a little.
And you're
odd.
telling me something that cost $135 billion to like inflation to the 21st century in a sense. So whatever that fucking math is, you're telling me you just lost all that information, all that technology, everything
No, it
just
wasn't.
went
Here,
bye-bye?
I'll play the clip of it here, so you guys can see it. It's not just our word, like it's actual
I mean, to be
NASA
fair,
saying
these
this.
are human, so it would almost be weirder if everything went off perfectly. Like someone's bound to make a mistake somewhere.
This is true. There is that to consider too. Can you guys see this? All right.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Get past this guy here. Sorry.
It's the shortest video ever. Oh, I've seen
Don
this
Pettit.
guy.
Yeah.
We don't have
Don
the
Pettit.
technology anymore. We lost that. I think that's the dumbest thing.
Where'd it go, Devin? Where'd the technology go? Why haven't we been back since?
Second. The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we destroyed that technology, and it's a painful process to build it back again.
I mean, that is odd. I mean, really? Are we going to say
Does
that's
he-
not odd that
Is he
we?
just referring to the shuttles, though? Is that what he's referring
I
to?
have no idea. Like, it's
No.
so out of context.
all of the technology that was used to figure out flight pattern and not the Saturn rocket itself, right? That
Uh-huh.
technology has not been destroyed. but the flight pattern, the whole flight pattern and the science used to actually get to the moon, orbit it, and land on it has been destroyed.
They're like, we did it. Put it in the garbage. We don't need this paperwork anymore.
Actually, to be fair,
it's fucking clogging up my desk.
Who do you know does
rid of
that?
it.
because the technology would have to change because we're constantly moving through space.
He didn't say it changed. He said it was destroyed after 1972.
Yeah, I mean, they probably destroyed the old stuff.
I
right?
mean, what, you destroyed it
because he
for
said to build
spies?
it.
For
He said it was an effort to build it back up. Not that they couldn't, not that they didn't. So it kind of implies that they know how to do it. It's just like a lot of work to make it. You know what I mean?
What other technology do you know that we make and then we destroy it right afterwards? It's odd. It's odd, especially.
I mean, it depends on what you define technology as. Is technology like a specific graph? Is it, an idea or what? Because if he's talking about the star charts they used then, or I don't know if they're called star charts, but the navigations they used then, those navigations would be outdated now. So it makes sense that if he's calling that technology would be destroyed.
I just don't see why you would destroy it. Like, I mean, even if it ran out, I mean,
even if it was outdated, you'd still keep it.
Yeah, you'd still keep it. I mean, they kept everything else in the museum.
He's still saying they had it at some point, so he's still saying they did make it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's saying they made it, and then
it's just weird that they
after 1972, they destroyed it all, and they lost the original footage.
Maybe they found something on the moon. It was too great for us mortal men to know. They found the Transformers.
I mean, that would be cool. I'd be down for that. Let's bring in Bart. What clips did we have of Bart?
I got this clip here of. So this is the Apollo mission 11. Let me see here. NASA footage from the Apollo 11 mission, which is Apollo 11 is the first mission to the moon.
Mm-hmm.
With Neil Armstrong, the one we're talking about right now.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. I'm not for sure if this is the right one, but we'll listen to his little take on it. He's going to come on the show in October, so we'll get to actually have someone that's done 40 years of research on it instead of us in our 1 month of research. I'm actually going to send him this clip. It's probably going to drive him nuts. So he's like, I got to come on. Hopefully that's the idea. But
yeah, you're like, we need your help. I'll fund your fucking conspiracy news corner.
All right, here we go. So this is his claim to fame, is that he got this footage from NASA, which is tied to the atomic clock. So these are actual correct dates.
Yet to show it to anybody.
Let me see here.
Because it's here, but there were other shots. If you take out this, outtake there, it looked about this, size to kind of show, hey, look, here we are halfway to the moon, as they claimed they were at the beginning of the footage. And the way they got this footage, as explained to the viewers, is that Neil Armstrong said on this unedited tape, they only had one window that faced the Earth, and it was completely filled up with the TV camera, meaning the TV cameras back then were kind of big. It's bulky. In order to get this shot, or this proportion here of the Earth allegedly floating in space, although that's an outtake because that shows you how they're faking it, which I'll get to in a minute, that they would have to put the lens to the window's glass in order to shoot the Earth far away. And Neil Armstrong says we're calling in from 130,000 miles out. In fact, right before he says he's calling in from 130,000 miles out, he asked NASA, how far out do you have us? Well, he's got the most advanced computer on the entire planet. He knows exactly how far he is away from Earth. His display says it. So why did he ask NASA to tell him how far out he is? Because his display actually says about 250 miles. He's in low Earth orbit. They never left Earth orbit because of the radiation belts. And NASA was running a simulation program, after which one of the controllers said they could tell no difference between an actual flight and a simulation on the computers. So just as they had fake pictures of them on the moon. They had fake data. After all, all it is a computer screen with numbers on it. And if they say the temperature of Saturn is, 15 degrees, then it must be 15 degrees because there it says so on the computer screen. And so what they had is these programs that they rehearsed the moon landings, and it would tell them how far the spacecraft is away, they're approaching the moon, the altitude above the moon, and their descending altitude. All of this was simply based on clock time of a scenario. And Neil Armstrong did not want to contradict the NASA program. That's why he asked, how far out do you have us? And he just parroted it back to them. Now, what this really is a circular window of the spacecraft. They have this is the real location of the camera. This is with the lens zoomed out. And this is a part they didn't intend to show. But if you can imagine, this person's arm is not in front of the window. Sorry, I didn't have this picture prepared, but basically you'd have a circle Earth with a black all around it. They're trying to convince you, they're halfway to the moon. Now, halfway to the moon would be completely on the other side of the radiation belts, which NASA just admitted in 1997 that the space shuttle crew 620 miles away from it knows more about it than the Apollo astronauts who allegedly went through it. The only way that's possible is if they did not go through it. The camera is actually in the back of the spacecraft, and they've turned out all the lights and blocked sunlight from entering the window, so the foreground is pitch black. What's over here is the panels of the inside of the spacecraft in Earth orbit. This is either a section of the Earth outside of the window, or a colleague of mine, David Percy in England, he believes they used a transparency, kind of like a positive slide, and stuck it over the window and had it backlit by Earthshine. I'm not sure which it is, but I've never seen cloud patterns go completely across the Earth in any satellite picture I've ever seen. So it looks like the proportion is off here. They had a little crescent piece of black material, which they inserted here, and that made it look like the Terminator line between night and day. Now here's an outtake when one of the astronauts' arms gets in front of the window. Now again, the camera is supposed to be at the lens of the camera is supposed to be at the glass of the window. So it's physically impossible to get between the lens and the window, or between, the Earth. There's no way, unless you're outside the spacecraft without a spacesuit on. As you can tell, this is the guy's arm. Here's his hair on his arm. This was an outtake, which they never showed, but we got the unedited tape from it, and it shows that they are, faking the shot.
Hair on the arm.
Additionally, and I
That's
should
like the
have
hairiest
this
arm
suit
ever.
up too. If you give me a moment, maybe I'll find it. Is that we hear
Devin,
this?
just know that they just went halfway. They
I
didn't go all
agree.
the
I
way.
agree that those photos are fake,
Well,
and I fucking
I'll
doubt the
figure it
source
out.
because those
Figure
aren't
it out
fucking
for you.
real photos.
Here's a clip from a funny thing happened on the way to the moon, and this
This guy's
is
just talking.
the shot of allegedly the Earth floating in space. Again,
Well, this
This is
isn't
really
a photo. This is a
the
video.
blackened walls of the
From the space
spacecraft,
shuttle.
and here's a circular window with either the part of the Earth outside of it or transparency.
Allegedly,
of
he's
the
reading a
Earth.
fucking script of what they said and shit. Where the fuck's
And it
that?
made it look like night and day.
Shit.
Now, as rudimentary as that may sound, I'm a professional filmmaker, and it was the inconsistencies of the lighting that made me realize that the film was shot in a TV studio rather than on the surface of the moon. However, this particular shot, the 30 seconds or so of the good takes that they aired to the public, I thought looked extremely convincing. It would have fooled me unless I had received the unedited version of all the behind the scenes outtakes. They're also talking about how they're faking the shot. They're talking about how it's going to be used for playback later, even though they claim that the pictures were live. Now,
Well, how about you play the fucking live audio? If you fucking heard it, he can fucking play it in the video. Why doesn't he? Because
and
he's fucking
especially
full of
this old
shit.
analog radio equipment, it's going to take about 2 seconds for the radio signal to reach them. They reply in about 2 seconds to go back. So if NASA says, hey, the TV picture looks great, and Neil Armstrong immediately says, hey, glad to hear that, there should be a 4-second delay. So if he responds too soon because he's actually in Earth orbit, only 250 miles above the Earth, then that's going to give away that fact. So he had apparently an earpiece in with a private channel of audio from the CIA.
Well, and I figured we'd let him play it when he comes on the show.
Who?
With that guy's coming
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, he's coming on in October.
Yeah, if he plays the fucking actual audio, like, all right, let's go. But you know, sit
Wait,
there and
hey-
tell me what they're saying. I don't believe any of that shit.
Well, let me find the audio then, because he's just doing. This isn't. This
I
is
got
from
the
He's
original.
just
I got
walking
the
you
original
down the
evidence and
line.
outtakes, but I'm just gonna read it from a fucking script for you instead of play it for you.
explaining to you what you're seeing. That's what he's doing.
He's
Calm
painting the
fuck
picture
down.
like NASA
Well,
has
he
painted
made
the
a
picture
terrible
to
video.
be
Is what he
fake.
made. He made a terrible video.
All right, can you not insult our guest when he comes on?
Hey, come prove it to me.
There's
There's a lot of evidence that suggests we were on the fucking moon. That's all.
And a
I'm
lot
saying.
that we weren't. That's what I love about this conspiracy. If you peel the onion all the way back, it's probably it's like the number one friendliest conspiracy, right? Like people really don't like when you talk 9/11 or other shit, like people get, wicked hot on either side. This one, like you can have conversation and be like, at the end of the day, either we got bamboozled and our great seaman grandchildren are going to have to pay the taxes on this, or we actually went and we did something really cool. Either way, fuck the CIA, fuck Oprah, and we never landed on the moon. But keep going. I love Bart.
On the moon.
Let's go, Bart.
I like this one because at least everybody is under the same premise that space is real. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, we're
the other
not
conversation
everyone.
is fucking.
I mean,
woo,
I'm yet to
whoa.
be convinced about that.
Yes.
I mean,
Oh, fuck, you got a
I
flat
love
earther
that
up? Goddamn.
the flat Earth and the dome, and that's as far the astronauts went as far as the dome would let them.
They
Like I
hit the
said
dome
earlier,
and they know it.
Yeah, like I don't know.
Why do
I
they
mean-
launch rockets only to the fucking east? Because they know the Earth's spinning, and that's how they can get fucking shit out easier with less fuel. If you try to launch rockets from east to west, it requires a shitload more fuel to get into fucking orbit.
I mean, suppose because didn't Bart in that clip say something about the fuel or
Yeah,
or-
it doesn't. Yeah, and I don't know enough to verify that or not.
an
But what he was
engineer.
saying was that the amount of fuel that would be needed to get it past the atmosphere, the rocket would have to be taller than the Empire State Building.
It is.
Yes.
So they were pretty fucking
That's
big. And
It's fucking big though. It's like 700 meters.
It's
bro.
not the diller in your mom's nightstand. Okay.
Have you walked
It's
the rocket? It is fucking massive.
also, they have two of them, not one. So
Yeah, that rocket is massive. The Saturn rocket.
I'm excited to have him on because I think the guy did a lot of has done a lot of
also,
research.
where did he
I
get those
just,
calculations?
source of the
of
film. It proved it to me that that's a NASA fucking.
I mean, he does talk about in there, like the dude got punched in the face by his Buzz. Okay. Buzz punched him in the face because he challenged him. He challenged him that he didn't go to the moon. He said,
Is there a
Buzz, put
video
your
of
hand on
this?
this Bible and tell me that you went to the moon. And Buzz couldn't do it.
You
Buzz
want
was
to see
like,
the
get
video
out of
of
my
that?
face.
I've seen it. It doesn't
I-
mean he didn't
I don't
go.
think
wanna see
Rob-
that
I don't
video.
think
Buzz is
Rob-
probably just tired of these motherfuckers that won't take fucking yes as an answer.
I want to see
Like,
Buzz fade
another
and
one
I'll
of
stuff.
you
show
fuckers.
it to you, Rob. Well,
I
and
think
our
it's,
audio.
I think it's great.
Should see it too because it's
So
pretty
this
good.
is the guy who did that video that we just watched.
Yeah, this
Why
is
don't
the
you swear
guy
on the Bible that
that
you've
went
done the
on.
moon?
That's Buzz Aldrin.
Why don't
And
you
he's like,
swear
just
on the
leave me
Bible
the fuck alone, bro.
Did you tell him to get out of here?
This is a hotel.
We'll call the
You
police.
cannot
We pay.
solicit. It doesn't
Come on in
matter.
He's
here.
like-
We'll call the
You cannot
police.
solicit.
You like that? Why don't you swear on the Bible that you walked on the
Look at
moon?
his fucking
Yeah,
face.
that's my
though.
thing. If he went, why not just throw your hand on the Bible? How easy is that?
He's like at a hotel with his family. This
Well, there's a
random man comes up
backstory
to
to
him,
this too.
yelling at him about a Bible.
This is a continuation from a
You got to be
yesterday.
cheating, man. Okay, well, you can put it on your shoulder. Don't be shy.
Come with me, Buzz.
You really like it?
You're the one who said you walked on the moon when you didn't. Calling the kettle black, if I ever thought of it. Saying I misrepresented myself.
away from me.
You're a coward and a liar and a thief.
See? He deserved that.
He did.
Yeah,
And
I was
he,
just like, yeah.
And Bart did
Calling
did
him a
say he was
coward.
in
He's
the
probably
wrong
fucking
there.
brave
He
as
was in the
fuck to
wrong.
go up there. Coward, my ass.
It's a good conspiracy theory.
My
Little
my
jab.
favorite
There's
video-
video.
Right in the face.
My favorite video is the assholes video that we found, or that you found. That you sent me on Rumble. That was by far.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Listen, we've covered like a third, not
Yeah.
even a third of the different. Like we didn't even go into the photos and how the shadows don't line up.
Yeah. And the burn points and the photos, and I get where you're going, Devin. Videos and photos can be doctored. I understand that.
Yeah, but there's lots
That
of
I'm
third-party
hand in
evidence.
hand with you, but that just explained to me that all of this can be bamboozled bullshit. Like the interesting took I find was okay, like just things that they've done that just make you go like okay, the amount of fake inflatable tanks that were set up in World War II to throw off the
Yeah.
That
Germans,
was a good one.
right?
Yeah.
That's fascinating. Or the fact that the Star Wars missile defense program was the tests on it were rigged to kind of back off the Soviets for the readiness of the Cold War. Like, so we've done our fair share of.
Well, and I mean, are we really going to believe that we didn't fake anything and the Soviets faked everything? You know what I mean? Like how? I mean, everyone was in the business of misinformation in the 60s and 70s. That's what we were doing.
The cash payout is crazy, that's where I kind of was just like, fuck all this. Like, just the amount of money that people have made. If it is fake, if we never went, if humans never set foot on the moon, okay, equipment, okay, but if humans have never set foot on the moon and we spent billions and billions of dollars just to pad people's pockets, just like everyday greed just is out there in front of our face, like. It's just so frustrating that, like,
how do you keep hundreds of people from fucking not leaking anything?
Well, you wouldn't have to keep hundreds.
One person. It takes one motherfucker, and there ain't any of them.
I mean, you're saying everyone down there operating
the command center,
the command
launch
center,
rockets, fucking the whole shebang, bro.
Now, like what his argument is that the command center could not tell the difference between an actual flight and a simulated flight.
So they were tricking.
So that's fact. Is
But
like when they were running simulation facts.
There's third parties that track the whole Apollo 11 mission.
No, that's not true, because it was supposed to be a third party out of a group in Australia and
the Madrid Apollo station,
and that was changed back to Houston at last second when it was supposed to be the Australian group that was supplying the feed, I believe.
No, there was a station built in Madrid, Spain that tracked Apollo 11, and almost everybody there were not NASA employees.
So they weren't the ground control for the mission, but they were watching the mission, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that's if we didn't fucking go, like, there's no reason why China and Russia would be like, moon's still up for grabs. Just like, Russia's trying to claim Antarctica now.
Let's just say if we didn't go, right? If we didn't go, that means we knew Russia didn't go.
Yes.
And so if we knew Russia had faked their footage, so we could fake our footage, Russia couldn't call us out because they had faked their own footage. Same thing is why China's doing what they're doing now. Is like you could say that China now is in on all of this, and they're like, well, we're going to go to the moon too because everyone else faked the fucking thing.
It's a huge cash grab.
Yeah, and it's a huge cash grab. That is true.
Wait, just because we couldn't do it, how does that mean that we know the Russians can't do it?
The ultimate flex was sending 100 fucking space rocks to all the other countries, like, see, bitches, we were there. Suck it.
And then it all just being wood.
But my thing is supposed because if we didn't go, right, what does that do? Set us back with our tech, like 50, 40, 100 years, like, I think that's the scary part too, is just
look how many problems they're having getting us to the moon right now.
Yeah. NASA, they want to try to go again by 2035 because they still can't get it ironed out. Like,
well, we were supposed to go a month.
Well, I mean, how many times did we do it though? Like, it's not like Artemis we've done. How many times did it take to get like secure planes? But we could do planes way more than we could do rockets. You know what I mean? There's only the space missions are in like the dozens.
I do love how
I think it's like 6 times we went to the moon.
Yeah,
6 times we went to the moon from 69 to 72.
That's really not that many times to really get it hammered out for everything that there is going into it. Like, I could see
not one mishap either on any of those.
Right.
Apollo 15 was a fucking clusterfuck.
I wish I had those numbers. Damn it, I'm gonna have to. We would do another one. I'm so sorry for not having all this written down,
You
but
suck.
they were talking about how they were having to connect to each other, and Bart talked about it, I think, in that video of like just the mathematical problem and like to the seconds, that if they didn't get that math down correct and didn't have, I don't know if it was the lunar module or what, making contact maybe with the moon. I can't remember. I'll have to find it because it's in that clip that Corey just showed that Bart talked about, that everybody would have been blown to pieces. Not everybody in the world, but that mission, like Apollo 11, that would have been. So you're saying with the technology that they had in the 60s when they went, was that capable, and you let it rely on one person? You let Neil take that weight? I don't know. I mean, I would love to ask, that would be the one person, Neil Armstrong, to just give him some truth serum or something, because he doesn't talk about any of it. He really
He won't talk about it.
He's closed lips. There's only one photo of him on the moon, with NASA's database. There's only one of actual. There's two, but the one you can't, like, it's grainy. It's not a very good photo. But like, he is the one person out of that whole mission that, he just, in my favorite quote that I found by him, he was given a tour, I think, to students in the White House or at the space program. I couldn't remember.
He was getting Medal of Honor, and there was a tour of high schoolers going through the White House at that time.
And he says to them, remove one of the truth's protective layers. That's what he challenged those people, to remove one of the truths of the protected layers. Like, what's he hitting at? What's he getting at? I mean, he's
why won't he do any interviews on it?
Why won't he do any? He's a professor, or he was a professor. I don't remember.
And Buzz won't shut up. Buzz just talks.
Yeah, because I think Buzz has kind of dove into the fact of being the loose lip guy, but not really giving you a whole lot to run on.
I mean, there's so much evidence that actually, like, fucking Russia was tracking Apollo 11. They would have been the first ones to say bullshit, 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 and they actually confirmed that they were fucking there. Why?
Yeah, they had, because they didn't want to be
accept that?
called out on their own.
Yeah, they didn't want to have the United States dive into their.
Whatever.
It's that I'm curious.
They would have called bullshit, bullshit, bullshit.
What happens if we find out? I mean, let's just play devil's advocate here. What happens if it comes out it was fake? What would the consequence of that?
Almost
what
nothing.
Would the consequence of that be?
That's the sad thing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing happens, right? No one's.
And that's why it's hard to believe that it is.
I mean, the people who freak out about where's the money going, that.
That's the biggest thing, is the money.
They fucking went there, bud.
If they
don't, then Roswell's all shot to shit, because all that was for the space program too.
Well, Roswell never happened, right?
Yeah.
No, I'm saying like all that shit was for the space program. All the shit they were setting up and retrieving around Roswell that ended up being the Roswell story was all for the space program.
Yeah, I'm not arguing the fact that they wanted to go to space and they wanted to go to the moon. I'm not arguing that, or that they were trying, but like, none of their rocket programs work. They all blow up, right? Gemini.
No, they don't. They made it.
Buzz talks about how hard it was getting it off.
Previous to the Apollo mission, the first Apollo mission with the first Saturn rocket has no hiccups, goes straight to the moon, comes back. They do it 6 times, and then they destroy all of that information. But the rocket programs before that, the Gemini, and I forget the other one, none of those rockets or those missions, which were just as carefully planned out, they were filled with errors. And all of a sudden, you just nail it first time around.
That's my thing, is you 100% every time. That's horseshit. I mean, not every time. Not every time. 13. Okay. Yeah. And Tom Hanks saved the day. We get it. We understand.
They had to burn. Those guys had to fucking run that burn to make it into Earth's atmosphere. And a third party fucking like reflector
I also
satellite
think
was
a lot
able
of
to
it could
track
be
them in the
faked.
sky, so they could do the fucking math to figure out how long a burn they needed to fucking make it.
That's what's said in the movie for sure. The propaganda.
No, motherfucker, I can send you the fucking.
Absolutely.
That's why I think it could be all
Contact the
fake
American
too,
hero.
because what did we have that Russia and China didn't have? What was just let your mind wander. What did the United States, what were we
Freedom.
really good at?
God bless.
Hollywood.
Oh my god, they didn't have the tech to fake all that shit. Nick.
Hollywood.
They did not have the tech. You want to go into that? I have a big thing about that.
Yeah.
They can only
I would
film
agree.
it like 24 frames per second, and be able to do slow motion is impossible.
What about, I mean, I just love the
You
fact.
said you had a big thing about it, and that's
I'm about to
literally
share
the
it
only
with
thing
you.
you
I'm
said.
about to share it with you.
What about the fact that they could have fed 2 million people for their entire lives with the amount of
Apollo
money
landing
that they
footage would have
spent?
been impossible to fake. A film expert explains why.
Is that Stanley Kubrick? Oh wait, he directed it. My bad.
Oh my god, you guys are so crazy. Like I've already showed you so much evidence, and you don't. It's
You said the
doesn't
rock,
matter.
carbon dating for the rocks is one piece of evidence,
I gave
and
you a point
now
for that.
and now the 24 frames per second. That's the
I
second.
I
piece
told
of
you about the
Devin's starting
Russia
to fall
and them
apart. It looks
confirming
like
that they
Kinda
fucking went.
scrambling.
Better put that.
I didn't find any of that. I mean, did you find that on the government trusted Google?
Oh, there you go. Yeah, it is. Yeah. You can't confirm any of those sources, can you?
I only go
Yes,
to
you can confirm
DuckDuckGo.
them.
Well, how come Bart Seibel, who's a filmmaker, carries the same weight as your filmmaker?
That's very true.
So they cancel each other.
I
posted
just
that
chalk it up to being a
article.
big old bamboozle.
No, it is not.
It was
I
a
can't
modern
believe you
day
won't
cash
accept any
heist.
of the-
Modern day.
all the
cash
ones that
heist.
say it's fake, you freaking accept.
Wait,
but you won't accept any
Wait,
of the
so
ones
you
that
think they
show
were
this
just
proof.
moving money? Is that what you think? Do you think they just stole all that money?
Yeah.
Like a standard motion picture film records at images of 24 frames per second, while a broadcast television is typically 25 to 30. But if you use the freaking cameras that they used on the space for the mission was slow scan television.
I just
which
want to
is-
hear what you're saying is that we did not have the technology to slow down video in 1969, but we had
Here,
the
let me get
technology
to
to go
it.
to the moon. We had
How?
the technology to go to the
Here's
moon,
the
but we
claim.
couldn't slow
Here's the
down
claim.
video.
They use
Well, look how bad old cameras are.
they used the Apollo special camera in a studio, then slowed down the footage to make it look like they were in less gravity. Is that what you're talking about?
There's an argument for that. Yep. I don't know if that's what May's talking about,
Some
but
people
I have
may
seen it.
contend that when you look at people moving in slow motion, they appear to be in low gravity environments. Slowing down the film requires more frames than usual. So you start with a camera capable of capturing more frames in a second than a normal one. This is called overcranking. When this is played back at a normal frame rate, this footage plays back for longer. If you can't overcrank your camera, but you record at a normal rate of frame, you can instead artificially slow down the footage. But you need a way to store the frames and generate new extra frames to slow it down. At the time of the broadcast, magnetic disc recorders capable of storing slow motion footage could only capture 30 seconds in total for a playback of 90 seconds of slow motion video.
You're
To
saying
capture
as
100
part of the well, just slow down.
To
Okay.
capture
People are gonna
143
drone-
minutes
Calm
of slow
down,
motion,
Devin.
you
I
need
gotta say
47
something.
minutes of live action.
You're saying that the live action broadcast, the live broadcast of it, would
Yeah.
have been impossible to do.
Exactly.
That was streamed live on TV.
I don't know if it was streamed live on TV.
Well, that's what you're saying, though.
That
like
footage,
the
that
TV
footage cannot
broadcast.
be. That was impossible.
But if it had been done in a controlled setting and then replayed, then it would have been possible, right? Am I right here?
Right.
Saying? No, you're fucking wrong. How about you read this fucking article and learn something? It's from fucking PBS.
Oh, that's it. That's the ticket right there. PBS.
I love Dragon Tales.
Why are you trying to trigger me? You're trying to trigger me.
No, I'm just saying, the public broadcasting system of the government,
I mean, the people got so fed up with the goddamn moon landings that they would call CBS and was like, "You're interrupting I Love Lucy. No one cares about the trips to the moon
that was
anymore."
funny.
That's true.
And
We've
then you
done
had
it.
Apollo 13 happen right after
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. You know, like
You have a little drama of your own. See what
Well,
Ricky thinks of that.
They shot it on film in slowed it down instead to do it. You need
and then gave it to and then let CBS broadcast it, which CBS, I think we've established pretty firmly, was part of Project Bluebird and was definitely in the hands of the CIA by that time.
Okay.
They
shot it on film and slowed down the film and said, you can have as much film as you like to do this, right? And then they converted the film to be shot on TV. But shooting on film would require thousands of feet of film. A typical reel back then was 35 millimeter at 24 frames per minute.
What was the budget
24 frames per minute
again?
seconds? Huh?
What was the budget?
135 million.
Oh yeah, I think they could figure a way to swing that.
billion?
Yeah.
Last 11 minutes is 1,000 foot long.
Well,
I'm
mean,
just telling you guys.
There's oddity.
It's crazy to me. Like,
and that's what I'm fascinated by is why is it so crazy? Like, I mean, I don't think it's crazy.
You won't accept any of the
play
fucking
with
evidence that we were there.
I'm
That's
not saying
irrefutable.
What?
You
That
still
we
haven't
brought
come up
rocks
with why
back?
the fucking moon rocks are older than Earth rocks.
The moon rocks is really the only argument you have.
That's it.
Ugh.
Because
They didn't have the
video
tech to fake
and
it. That's what I'm telling you.
and they didn't have the tech to make it. You ain't got the
Yeah, they
tech
did.
to fake it. You ain't got.
You don't have the
Yeah,
tech.
but-
Yeah.
Oh,
Put that
no,
on a
the rocks
fucking
just
t-shirt.
mysteriously got here. We didn't go there.
If we
Aliens gave it
sent,
to us.
if-
That's what it was. They met us halfway. They came through the Van Allen belt.
Look
gave
at
us the rocks. Then we brought them back. Said, see. Fucking lizard guys gave it to us.
so
Motherfuckers.
when they,
I'm sure
took
that's
off
probably a
from the
conspiracy. I'm
rock,
sure that's out there.
How did the camera pan up? Who controlled that camera to pan up to watch the go back into space when Buzz and Neil decided to leave the moon? Who controlled that?
They didn't have motors when they went to space.
No, I'm just wondering, like who, like it's like how clean
shot.
and how
Perfect
clean
shot.
and crystal it is that it just pans beautifully. So you're saying what? Maybe put it on a timer.
They left shit on the
Is
moon.
that what you're
That's
thinking?
proof, and people could see it.
What do you? Who took those photos?
There's third-party people, motherfucker.
Why is the
third-party
flag?
evidence for
Why is
freaking
the
moon
flag
landings. You'll
waving in the
you'll
wind?
have a nice rabbit hole to go down.
Why is the flag waving in the wind?
It's
Like
because
a
they
good
put a
old American-
metal piece in it, so it would wave.
Have you seen how much the shit moves just with a flick?
When they literally
Like
threw
water
Show
moves
the
across
show the
fucking
hippity hop
the hippity hop video.
video.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm
Okay.
saying. You guys are
How
trying to
did you
say
get off my
that's
property?
fake, but in order to fake it, you would need they didn't have the technology for that.
You can't say they wouldn't have the technology for that when they had the technology to go to the moon. You know what I'm saying?
What's
Like
two
it's-
different types
The
of
film
technology?
tech wasn't there though.
Yeah, like film tech and missile tech or rocket tech are two
Very
completely different things. Yeah.
Yeah, TV was just still black and white in most people's fucking houses.
no, it was color. It was color.
Fine, that's color, but I'm just saying black and white TVs were a thing. I had a black and white TV as a kid, and I was fucking born in '78.
All right, here we go.
Fucking old Zenith. I used to watch cartoons on.
Good old Zenith before the Chiners took over.
Yeah.
Right. Well, this video, May, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
I mean, you can show all this, but
Now
read
nearly
the article.
40
It tells you.
years
It
of the
explains
first
it
moon
beautifully.
landing.
Okay. All right. Are you going to talk over the clip, Devin, or God damn it?
Yeah.
Now, nearly 40 years after the first moon landing,
Where's the
NASA
one?
that the original film depicting Neil Armstrong's giant leap has been lost.
This famous scene of man taking his first steps on the lunar surface is one of the most recognizable in history. But why are such important images so grainy and hard to see?
And we're getting a picture on the TV.
1969. Oh, fuck.
NASA claims it's the result of 1960s technology.
Unreal.
Although it appears that the astronauts are moving in the moon's gravity, which is 1/6 that of the Earth, Percy notes that when the speed of the film is doubled, the astronauts appear to be running as if in Earth's gravity.
Oh yeah, so it's fake.
That looked pretty good.
Also, when the footage of the lunar rover is doubled in speed, it looks as if it's driving here on Earth.
We only have one window that has a view of the Earth.
Just interesting. It's
All
interesting.
that looked like proof they were there. Sorry.
I mean, yeah, hey, he's still running pretty goofy when they times it up. And it's
I
the
agree
same
with
concept of if you slow it down, it'll look like they're in low gravity. If you speed it up, it'll look they're in higher gravity.
Yeah, but like the amount of they just didn't have that kind of memory space back then.
Yeah, also the
To be
thing
able
of,
to-
like, yeah, our cameras were bad back then. Like that's just
Fuck yeah.
true. Like
Well, and it's
Like,
grainy
have
because
you
it's
seen have you seen
we
modern
record-
CCTV footage? Like when they're like, "Hey, have you seen this man? It's a fucking dark shape." It's like
Exactly.
It's
It's
80
like,
years
fuck
later.
people.
Listen, I think it'll be nice to have Bart on, and we can talk to a guy that definitely.
I hope there is reincarnation and I can like remember my past life, and when I come back in the future and we're like planet hopping, I'm like, can you believe people used to believe this shit didn't exist?
It's hard to
Fucking
planet hop.
dummies.
when there's-
That's how that
Yeah.
flat Earth page is, man. Those guys are hostile to globies. They'll be like, refute me. You can't. Shush. It's like, oh my god.
Impossible.
we did a job Friday, and it was a remodel, and one of the daughters had a globe in her room, and I called my partner up. I'm like, hey Dustin, get over here. I'm like, look at this propaganda in this room. And he's like, oh, get the fuck out of here. Why are you so hostile? Are you globy?
Yeah, it's so
Globy
funny.
agenda.
I'll be happy when that episode's over, because like I'm starting to be like, because I always like to take the side of the conspiracy to dive into it. But
A lot of their, it's going to be fun. I'm not going to get all hostile, Dave. I'm like, I want to hear his point of views and reasons, and then when he starts telling me just real science is fake, that's where I'm going to be like, bro.
I'm gonna have to mute you. I know it. I got my cursor right over your mute button, because I know it's gonna happen. There's gonna be something he says, and you're just gonna be like,
It's going to be fun.
no, it'll be good. All right. Is that the moon landing episode right there, Meg? Anything else you want to say?
I mean, you guys just show some good stuff, but it's just not enough to
I'm
convince
trying
me
to
of
find
the
a
other
hold.
truth.
Hold on. I'm trying to find it. Hold on.
Okay. All right.
I've yet to see anything truly new yet. I haven't seen.
Well, we're saving
Discussed
that
and
for old
debunked
Bart.
further.
You'll have to
Yeah.
come on the Bart episode.
That's where the real juicy stuff gets brought out. The real,
I mean,
irrefutable
listen,
evidence.
I'm going to go on there and be like, I'm glad Buzz punched you. You fuck.
I hope it hurt.
It did look like it hurt. Buzz
His
squared
face
up
was-
on him.
his face was all red. You saw
Follow
it.
through was
He was kind of holding it in at the end there.
I mean,
Get punched by an 80-year-old man, look like a bitch. It's that old man strength, man.
he had to take a nap afterwards. Like that was
Sleep with his favorite moon rock.
yes.
All right. I want to show this real quick.
All right, did you set it here? Or do you want me here? I'll just share your screen. How about that?
Yeah. Share my screen.
You got to click on it to share.
What? Hit the my screen or what?
No, you see the share thing on the bottom of the
Yeah.
screen.
Share
there?
screen. Yep.
Yeah, and then you got to click on the thing.
Share system audio too.
Is there audio to it?
Yeah.
Yeah, then yeah. Yep.
Killing
There you
it.
go.
Click,
There you go.
click, click.
He got it. He got
Hey,
it.
oh.
He got it.
Got it. Did you see it actually say got it?
Can you see this?
Oh,
Yes.
Good one to end on.
Super Mario Brothers.
The leading caboose has arrived.
What the fuck is
I'm
this?
Conductor Clark.
And I'm Ms. Janice. Hey, who wants to learn about the letter H?
I do.
Now what can we do with the letter H?
We can hula
Make it full screen.
Or
That guy's got a hell of a dick for him.
massive global hoax.
Where to go?
What he's referring to is the Apollo 11 moon landing that
Roll up.
supposedly took place on July 20th, 1969.
to quote Neil Armstrong, this is one small step for man.
And one giant lie to mankind.
Can y'all see it or no?
No, we see your
What are you
screen.
doing?
I don't know. I don't know what I did.
Go back to StreamYard.
Microsoft stole his formula
Oh, there
for
it
Windows
is.
95.
Hey, Sam, I hear you've got a story for the kids.
I
Far
sure
right.
do, Dennis. It's a real whiz banger.
Was that Rick?
Once upon a
That's
time,
George Carlin.
there was a president named Kennedy.
Yeah, that one. Nope, you're right. You're right.
Man on the moon before the end of the decade.
Mr. President, didn't you also promise civil rights?
That's another story, Trevor. Now change before I go sleep with Judith Exner.
Meanwhile, poor inept NASA couldn't get a rocket into space.
So they turned to Plan B.
I'm LBJ. The end of the decade is here, and there's still no Americans on the moon. Those Ruskies are gonna beat us to it.
I'll help you, Mr. President.
Who the hell are you?
I'm
Absolutely
Stanley
hate
Kubrick,
this.
and I'll use some tricks I learned while filming the movie 2001: A Space Odyssey to fake a moon landing.
And we're the mafia. And we'll fund your scam to build a secret soundstage in Las Vegas.
Good. While people think they're in space, we'll keep the astronauts busy with whores and gambling. Then we'll pay them off, or brainwash them, or kill them.
The end.
Yeah!
All right.
That wasn't even close to accurate.
Right. We don't prove it was a
Bumble's
hoax.
bullshit.
I mean, I just saw LBJ say it
It's
himself.
broken up,
I missed that.
Goldberg.
Just,
I used to fly.
it's I think from Mad TV is where that's from. All right. Well, I mean, that's a. I don't know if we should have ended on that one.
What's
man.
your thing about Stephen? What's his fucking face?
Stanley
Stanley
Kubrick?
Kubrick.
Yeah, what did
And,
he ever say about it? Did he ever fucking?
There was a Rumble
what's
interview
the
I
photo?
found.
It's a photo. Photo with Stanley Kubrick and Warner Von Braun and all them.
Yeah, like I don't know. I mean, yeah, there's a
They
couple
just kept him
clips of
employed for
Stanley.
fucking. They just kept him employed for like fucking 8 years to fucking fake all the other landings too.
I mean,
I mean, it
supposedly
worked
he
the first
reached
time.
out
Why
to get
wouldn't
the
you?
same camera.
Oh fuck! Because it would actually happen. That's why.
I mean,
You know, we got real evidence, but we can't accept that. We have to
got
keep
real
going.
evidence. I mean, I
Rocks,
think there's
motherfucker.
real
We just have rocks.
Yeah, like and I
That's
said, you
it.
could if you had refuted it that the aliens gave it to us and we're perpetuating the fucking
You
reptilians.
still would have fought it. You still fucking
Yeah, because that's ludicrous.
It's ludicrous. All right. I mean, good try there, May. Good try. I think it was
Good try.
It's a
valiant
lot.
effort.
Like it's fun
It
researching
is a lot.
everything and putting
It
it
is
all
fun to
down, but it's
research.
hard to broadcast how you want to tell the story. I mean,
Well, if you're going to be non-biased, you have to cover both sides. Yeah. And like you said, there is a lot of stuff out there that you like, oh, okay, that kind of makes sense. But for me, it's not enough to the Van Allen radiation thing. Okay. That's a decent one. You know what I mean? Of reason why not. But that's about the only one in my opinion.
radiation.
Bart has some good
But I
stuff.
also don't know a whole lot about Van Allen radiation belt. I have to research it.
Well, and what I found too is a lot of them, like, they don't, there's only some of them that team up together. Like, there's this Ralph Renee guy was super interesting, like the stuff that he had. But then he went against like Bill Casing, another guy that was, another moon landing guy. And then you got Bart that kind of piggybacks on both. And then he has his own path. So it's like, if they were to ever all just come together and hammer it out, I think you could make a solid concrete 100%. You would be able to fight that fight, but there's too many where, oh, well, that guy, he was this way and this way. It's that Ralph Renee was pretty interesting. I'd like to talk to Bart about him to see his opinion or see what he thinks on Ralph. Because Ralph Renee passed all his work down to this. What was he, a doctor on that Coast to Coast interview that was really good?
Yeah.
But even some of Renee's stuff, he had a hard time. He found a couple people to, hey, the radiation belt and the equipment and stuff used, like
The
it'd be
radiation
really
belt
hard.
is like, I think, the strongest argument just
Yeah.
because it's never been passed through again.
Yeah.
And they keep finding out how dangerous it is with each mission.
My thing is, well, the radiation it also kills robots too. So if it's that bad, like how did we get like our rover and Voyager 1 and 2 through there without them getting fucked up?
Yeah.
No,
those are.
I mean, true. That's the thing. But and and Bart or one of them talked about.
But why are astronauts asking to descent?
Yeah.
Because they've gotten, they're within 600 miles of it and they're experiencing side effects. That's
And
odd
that's
to me.
Close. Yeah. They're
because
backing out of it.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's because of the time it took them. I would like to see how long it actually, at the speed they were going, how long were they exposed in the Van Allen belt versus, if you're just kind of orbiting and you're like close to it, like are the effects different because you're spending hours, you're spending a day next to it where the Apollo guys only spent like an hour or two in it. You know what I'm saying?
I think it took them a day to get through it.
Yeah, through it. 3 days. Oh, yeah, a day or 3 days, something like
that.
It
takes 3 days to get to the moon, and it takes like a day to get through the.
And then they got to come back
into
it.
And they said too that it was at its highest, one of its highest peaks ever recorded when they went through it. So it's just that Coast to Coast Radio interview with about Rene or Ralph Rene, that he had some, a doctor, scientist, whatever, talking about it. And I wish I would have wrote it down because it was really interesting how pretty much 30 seconds of it, was at the parts that it was pumping out was toxic, it was not
and
good.
Like the material used in that spacecraft
was not
for
protected,
Apollo 11 would not have protected against it for, that period of time that they had to travel through it. But I'm not a scientist nor a astronaut, so I'm not going to be confronting Buzz Aldrin, asking him to swear on a Bible. That's for damn sure.
No, but I mean, too,
it is interesting
how easy. Put yourself in his shoes. How easy is it if you 100% believed and knew that you went? It takes 10 seconds to put your hand on the Bible and be like, yes, I went to the moon.
Well, if they had like a prehistory though, and this guy's been hounding Buzz for a while, he's like,
how
I'm not going to
many
give that
guys
motherfucker
a
the
day
satisfaction.
Come up to Buzz and bug him about.
Well, he interviews him. Was it their interview? Was it before or after?
It was before that.
Yeah,
it was before that. Yeah, he interviewed him.
Interviewed him.
Buzz was already pissed
all
at him.
day.
Yes, yeah, that had something to do with it too. Like his approach as an interviewer probably wasn't his best plan because he had already gotten him riled up the day before, and then he went back the next day.
Right, that's what
and went to get him to swear on the Bible, and Buzz was already fed up with him at that point. But and two, if anything, Buzz Aldrin still was an Air Force pilot and was still, you know what I mean? Like he flew in the Korean War, and then joined the astronaut program after that.
What he got punched for was calling him a coward.
Yeah,
because Buzz is not.
No,
especially flying in Korean War fighter jet. Yeah, that's freaking.
Well, you remember our Jolly West story? It started with the 4 pilots that were captured in the Korean War.
That's right.
And then
they
were brainwashed.
I really wanted to go down that
program.
And maybe we can another time, because that's when you sent me that. I wanted to stop everything and just go down that, because if you could connect a dot or two about that, that would just be the coolest story. I mean, that would like.
Yeah,
when you sent me that, I got a big old chub because I was like, that would be, that'd be pretty neat.
All right, is it time for topicals? I think it's time for topicals.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, let's research the Van Allen belt a little bit and find out how much they were exposed to and all that stuff would be interesting.
Let's start with a good news segment of the week.
Oh boy!
God damn it! Who's at the front door? Who is it?
Well, hey man, why do you look so glum? It looks like you could use some good news. See? Do you feel better now? It's the good news segment of the week. Brought to you by Rob Jackson's Sticky Green. Good news of the week.
Good news of the week. Nursing home hires strippers for seniors in wheelchairs.
Love it. I know a lot of people saw this, but
yes,
my favorite is the guy. He's got his hands all over her tits.
Did you see this
right there,
Devin? Yeah, this is great.
Yeah. Look at that old dude. He's like,
Oh,
he's got his
they're
mask
so
on.
happy. They're
He's got his
so
mask
happy.
on.
Look at this guy. He's like, I just get to touch taste one last time.
Yeah.
One
Yeah,
last
she's having a
time.
good time laughing. Like she's not being oppressed at all.
They said they were sorry for it.
Double fisted.
Get in there.
I bet if you had a fucking bottle of blue pills, you could have made a killing.
Yeah.
$1,000, guys. $1,000 pills.
This probably wasn't a proper setting for Pulse's racing. A nursing home has been forced to apologize for hiring a stripper to perform for senior citizens in wheelchairs. The Taiyuan Veterans Home, a state-run facility for retired Army personnel in Taiwan, paid an adult entertainer for a steamy show to celebrate Mid-Autumn Festival. That's just made up. It was for the Mid-Autumn Festival. What the fuck is that?
Strippers on Mid-Autumn.
Yeah.
It's not
Let's,
Mid-Autumn.
Oh, there's a video.
Yeah, yeah, there we go. Let's see here.
Yeah, it's 2022 and we have laggy video.
Does she have a wiener?
Yeah.
You'd have to be worrisome.
Yes. Hey, you know what? These I don't see what's so wrong about this. You know what I mean?
Hey man, they got
Like-
a hot one too. You know what I mean? It wasn't like
Yeah, it could be a dragon they could have sent in there. You know what I mean? And I'm like, God, I'd rather have died.
Yeah, why are people upset?
Yeah, I was gonna say who's the snitch?
Video of the raunchy performance, which took place last Thursday, was filmed by an attendee before it was posted on social media and went viral. The kinky clip shows a masked up erotic dancer clad in lacy lingerie giving one elderly man a lap dance. I just don't see what the big deal is about it. You know what I mean? Like
they're all
Maybe someone posted it because they thought it was funny, and then someone else saw it, and that person got offended.
it had to have been it, right? Like
That had to have been.
that had
Well,
to.
if
have
all you got to do is say I'm sorry, everybody's like, well, worth it.
Yeah. Good news of the week. Devin, you sent me this one. Model who had vaginal surgery to make it fattest in the world suffers complications.
Oh,
Wait, how is this
Look
good
at
news?
Yeah. This lady's addicted to plastic surgery. Wait till you get to see the moose knuckle, bud.
Oh my
Bam!
Lord.
Wow. You could hide a building in that thing.
Oh yeah, she's proud of it. And she likes to wear shorts that accentuate or pants that accentuate her.
Like she's got brass knuckles on.
I think
down
she
there.
calls it camel toe in here, but yeah,
Oh my God! Look at that.
it's just
What the
she's.
fuck?
I mean, damn near looks like Madonna. You know, like that level of plastic.
I've seen
surgery.
women with
Right.
solid
Done
tits
right.
in that camel toe.
Yeah.
It's like Jesus Christ.
Where's
She
that quote?
she almost
That's a
died
full-on
from that.
bulge in that.
Yeah.
That's just
Where's that quote that I saw? Remember, she's like, but sometimes when I
she-
bend over.
oh wait, are y'all
Yes, I'm not reading that out loud.
Okay.
Because we're on fucking live on
Read it
Facebook.
out. Yeah.
She boasted, when I have sex, it feels a lot tighter. I can squeeze and hug the cock before it even enters.
Wow.
Oh, Jesus.
She's all milking. I can milk.
She's been working as a stripper since she was 17, and she's always loved the bimbo look.
The fake.
So she has
bimbo,
accomplished that for
It'd
sure.
be like feeding a horse to a carrot. Like they're just
She admits being addicted to it too. Like
She said
she's
the
like,
only
"It's my
problem.
addiction."
Yeah, she said the only problem is when she bends over. Sometimes it looks like she has balls.
Oh, there it is, right there. My favorite type of cleavage now is my camel toe. Although when I bend over, it looks like I have a ball sack. Quote and quote.
Some people are into that now. You know, that's a.
I have been making paintings with my vagina, so this surgery has really inspired me to be more creative as well. What? She like paints with her.
You know, if like Trump met her, you'd have to cup it. You know, you
Yeah,
couldn't just
right.
like, I guess you actually could grab that one, but
I
it'd
don't
be more
think
like.
he could.
Does
fit
he?
it all in
Does
his
she
little
Bob
hands,
Ross
you
it?
know?
She's like, oh, happy bushes, happy bushes.
No
happy
mistakes.
bushes.
Yes,
Yes, no mistakes.
just happy incidences.
Like, where does she put the stick?
Listen,
just
she is
fits it right
24
in
years
between.
old. She's
Yeah,
only
she looks-
24.
She looks like she's 30 something.
She's in my age range. What?
Yeah.
Calm down there, Rob. It's
I can feed a carrot to a horse.
She was eager to open up about the unexpected benefits of having one of the fattest hoo-haws in the world.
It helped her to feel more confident and creative.
I don't. I feel more confident naked, and I love showing it off in clothes. I don't even know. 145,000 followers on Instagram.
And she's been making paintings with her vagina.
Yeah, how does that work? Do you stuff the
I'd
paint
imagine she
in there?
she sits in some paint and then she goes sits on a canvas.
Yeah, she's.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about. Bob Ross.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
Mary Magdalene is her name. So that's
know? She's on Insta.
yeah, she is.
Wanna be blow up doll.
Yeah, that's great. Is that the good news story of the week?
I don't know. If it's good
Is
news.
it good that it failed? I'm confused. Are y'all?
That's nasty.
It's like
Yeah.
it's like if there were aliens, they're like, pass this planet by. Did you see what's happening in the UK?
Yeah, yes.
Was that,
Go ahead, Rob. What?
is that a Stranger Things neck tattoo also?
I mean, it's just not natural.
It's gotta be. She's got an alien tattooed on her leg.
Speaking of,
I wonder if she
stuff-
went through the nipple or under the boob for the.
Who knows? Those are massive.
Speaking of stuffing stuff up your vagina, chess cup player accused of cheating with anal sex toy.
Oh, I saw this.
Oh, is this the
story.
vibrate thing?
Yes. So
Yeah.
there was some sort of a chess tournament that was going on between Magnus Carlsen and Hans Niemann. Now, Niemann is a good chess player, but Magnus Carlsen is a grandmaster and 5-time reigning world chess champion, and he lost the game to this no-name Hans Niemann. Now, they're all saying that probably shouldn't have happened. He did beat him online once, but in 2 face-to-face meetings, he got smoked by Magnus Carlsen. But now, on the 3rd meeting between the two, the relative nobody, 19-year-old, lowest ranked player in the entire tournament, beat this grandmaster. And the grandmaster, after getting beat by him, decided to step out of the tournament that was coming up in St. Louis. And he didn't necessarily, he sort of accused him of cheating, but he didn't straight up say it. He was cheating.
He made a tweet about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, my
How do you
favorite
cheat
thing
with anal beads.
Yeah, they think that he was hooked up to an AI, computer program, and every time he went to make a move, it would vibrate in his ass if it was the right move or not.
So you know what they should have, so the Houston Astros, when they cheated in baseball, they should have went this route. It would have been a safer, cleaner way to cheat.
Just put a robot in your ass.
The tip of the anal bead for a fastball. The third
Become
one,
like a little
curveball.
pocket for it.
It's up there fucking squirming at the plate.
pilot
Like, what's
view.
going on with that? He's
So
like, whoa.
when Altuve has that picture taken where the beeper's on his chest, they would never have found it because it would have been in a little bump.
Yeah, but they would have known because his eyes have been rolling in the back of his head as he's getting the fucking pitch out.
Right? He sees a fucking fastball coming. He's like,
He gets a wet spot on the front of his plate.
He hit a homer and he's really excited about it.
He's got a 3 bats up there. What's happening?
My favorite thing about this whole article was the humble brag that took place. And Devin, you are the master of the humble brag, so I thought you would really appreciate this. When Neiman did beat him in a follow-up interview, he called his victory a miracle. This is a direct quote. I think he was just so demoralized because he's losing to an idiot like me. It must be embarrassing for a world champion to lose to someone like me. I feel bad for him.
Oh, yes. Self-deprecating.
What's that chess show that's on Netflix? That was really good.
A chess
show? Did you ever see that show on Netflix?
Oh, with the redhead girl?
Yeah, the redhead. Yeah, what was that show called? Remember?
Queen's Gambit.
Yeah, Queen's Gambit. Yeah, made me get into chess for 2 months.
Wow. So
I saw a pretty girl and it got me.
Well, no, it was accused, but it hasn't been.
Nobody's gone up his ass and looked yet. So.
Yeah, no one's.
All right, gentlemen, before we do this chess tournament, everybody needs to get a cavity check.
We got Tom in the dive suit.
That's dedication to your fucking craft.
Just relax.
But I mean, it's Yeah, so you can get a free bar tab and $100. Oh, I need to check your butthole for anal beads.
Well, listen, they win
haven't-
in the tournament. They get paid $100,000 for it.
Okay.
So I mean, it's not
just like-
not a bad paycheck.
I love
But
watching
so
those
did
videos.
somebody see him stick the things in his
Listen.
butt, or just assume?
It's just like the
Carlson,
theory of how he could cheat, right?
yes, yeah.
Oh, okay, a
Yep.
theory. Okay.
The only
Like,
thing Carlson said was he released a cryptic tweet saying that if he spoke, he'd be in big trouble. The guy that lost, that's what he said. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
it
like
could be.
if you
Could
go to
be.
make a
Hey.
move and then you get the vibration not to do it, and you put the piece back, and then you grab another piece and do that, that is very sus. If he's attempting to make 8
It's
different
like
moves
wooden
before he
chairs. They
actually
hear the
makes the
clacking
move.
every time.
But I think,
What's that noise?
once you touch a piece, I think you have to commit.
No,
Oh,
no,
once
it's
you let
after
it
you
go
release the piece.
Is when you let it go.
Yeah,
Oh.
you can't. If so, you could have it hover on the spot you want it to. You know what I'm saying? And as long as your hand's still on the piece, you can remove it and put it back.
Is that common knowledge, or did it say that in there?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
like
it
the common rule. Yeah, that's how.
Oh.
If you
Didn't-
played
you
chess.
guys ever seen that movie? What was it called? Catching Bobby Fischer? Or...
I know what you're talking about, but no, I have
Yeah.
not seen it.
It's a great chess movie. That's a good chess movie.
Is Matt Damon in that?
No, this is pre Matt Damon, I think. It's an old movie. Speaking of Matt Damon, did you guys see this girl in Philadelphia? She had an emotional support alligator on a leash in a Philly park.
Oh my
yeah.
god.
Yeah,
A 7-year-old reptile?
Yeah, 7-year-old.
Wow.
That's
But
adult.
he's decent size then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so-
yeah. Here's a
In
video of it.
Philadelphia?
Yeah, in Philadelphia. Here
It's
she is.
legit licensed?
Oh fuck!
It's-
Look
yeah.
at this
Right.
thing.
You
Yeah.
take a look at this unusual sight today at Love Park. Eyewitnesses
taking
spotted
her
this
gator for a walk
alligator
to the
named
splash
Wally.
pad.
Wally, of course, Wally Gator enjoying the water.
Oh.
Wally's actually an emotional support alligator.
Oh,
Can you
people
please
there
just
tell us
bite
it's
someone in the
important
face?
and hug.
Take
Man,
it
we are
kid
so
with-
stupid. We are so stupid as humans.
He seems to be pretty damn tame. I mean, everybody's picking him up, petting him
He's
and shit.
fucking chilling. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like on TikTok. I'm down a rabbit hole, not a rabbit hole, but like my For You page is nothing but motherfuckers capturing random animals and making them house pets. Like this dude opened up his door and let a coyote in, and the coyote was just acting like a dog. It was just like, nothing else. And this other motherfucker had a deer and a couple foxes, and I'm like, what are we doing here?
My grandfather actually tamed
Domesticate
a
everything.
porcupine when I was a kid.
Porcupine?
Yeah, so I went to visit him for the summer, and he had these porcupines kind of like all over because he was like, my grandfather was like a groundskeeper, I guess, for these people's property. So he was there year round, and they would only come and go, whatever, And he had his own little place, like kind of like down from the big house. And he fucking tamed this fucking porcupine, and you could hand it an apple, and she'd fucking grab it and fucking just sit there and fucking eat it and shit. And how he fucking found it, he used to always sleep with his fucking doors open and shit. And he thought it was a cat that had gotten into his bed, and so he fucking smacked it. He got a handful of quills. But he fucking ended up taming this thing and took care of it till it died.
I wonder what
It was-
porcupine
It was
meat
really
tastes like.
cool. It was, when you first come to meet
What
it, if
the
it didn't
fuck?
know you, it'd turn its back, like porcupines do. But like, if you just sat there for a minute, it'd turn back around. You could fucking hand it an apple and shit. It wouldn't like jump in your lap like a fucking dog or anything, but you could
What
pat
are
it
we
on
doing?
its
We
head.
playing
You could actually
Pokemon
pat it on
Go?
its head. It was fucking
Yeah.
chill. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Man was put here to domesticate everything else. I'm gonna put a
Right?
leash on everything.
Yes,
mean,
I agree with that.
And we're gonna turn it into trading cards.
Exactly.
Good show today. Good show today. Appreciate you joining the show, Rob.
Appreciate you having me
Hey,
on.
so is it the moon landing happened or not?
Sorry, I dropped the ball on that. It's my bad.
I'm so curious where all the money went. So I'm not entirely.
You're not sold that we went.
I think we went. I'm not convinced. I don't know where the money went.
It's a true American answer right
I
there.
feel like the stones were solidly in the court of that we went. The footage was kind of 50-50. I feel like it kind of devolved the argument at that point. People were kind of just yelling at each other at that point.
That's it drives me nuts.
That I will say the puppet show, that was pretty strong. That almost got me. Lyndon B. Johnson himself coming out and saying, "We're gonna have the mafia fund the space program." It's like, damn,
Child's program.
Oh, guys, Guys, I forgot. We've got 2 voicemails. We got to do the voicemails real quick. We got a couple people that called into the show. It's my bad.
Oh.
So, I mean, before we let everyone go, let's give a chance to listen to what our listeners had to say for the Curious Mind Line. Oh, no, that's not it. That's a classic fail right
You
there.
nasty.
I don't remember what the Curious Mind Line hotkey is. Oh, there it is. There it is, right here.
This guy.
Thank you for calling Phantom Fact Society. You have reached the Curious Mind Line. Please leave a message after the tone.
It's like Aleister Crowley.
Fuck the whore queen.
Okay. All right.
Yes, Big Dave.
Okay. All right. That's not.
Where's the Irish? Come out, you black and tan.
All right. We had another one
Wyoming
here.
guy.
You guys remember the Curse of Talatigi episode we did?
Yes.
We got a call on that, actually.
Hey, Corey, Chris, and Devin. This is Dawson. I gotta say, I love the Phantom Fact Society podcast.
Oh, thank you.
You know, I had a couple cold ones here, and been listening to some of these podcasts, and it seems like you guys talk about a lot of pussy, but it doesn't seem like you're getting any pussy at home.
Okay. All right. That's
He's got 4 motherfuckers.
But otherwise, I like the podcast. I had
said
to gripe
that.
a little bit about the NASCAR podcast, and I gotta say, got your facts straight on some of it, but you do use brakes at Talladega. If you want a history lesson and some driving lessons from the Guzik boys, you just let us know. All back at you.
Okay.
Hell yeah. We had a NASCAR episode?
Yeah. Oh wow.
I don't think you were there for that. Curse of Talatigi.
Yeah, that was a good.
I love NASCAR. Go left,
go-
baby, fast
Go
and left.
Go search the catalog, son. It's in there.
Curse of Talatigi. Yeah, it's I guess they do use brakes. Is that for when they got to go pit?
Probably the embankments or the turns.
Listen, I played NASCAR 2000 and I never used brakes.
Keeps bouncing off the walls and shit. Yeah, the car keeps going 190 miles an hour, even no matter how bad I crash it. It's fine.
I don't
Well,
know.
it's like you got to slide into the embankments, and really just. That's cool. Do you know that, Dawson? I like dragon. Yeah, there we go.
See.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. I've seen
Rusty
this
Wallace, your favorite driver, Dawson? Who you got? Tony Stark.
It's Kyle Busch guy, I bet.
He sounded pretty wasted on that
I'll
voicemail.
be a Kyle Busch fan.
Don't be. All right, gentlemen. Have a good rest of your afternoon. And Tuesday at 5 p.m. Central Time, catch the special broadcast with Flat Earth Dave.
Watch him try to convince me that we're in a dome.
His job is not to convince you. His job is
he's just going to put it out there.
Educate you.
Yep.
Educate you.
But the problem is none of his facts are facts, though.
Big claims being made by some. Let me practice right now. There, he's muted. All right, that's
How'd Iowa do?
That's
it tells me I've been muted.
Oh, now I
go.
gotta mute. Now I gotta mute May.
Shit.
Bring crap about Iowa. How did Nebraska do? That's the real question.
Did you guys win? Did you bring offense? Did you bring O to the name?
Yeah, we beat Nevada. Tap on our back. Good job.
Did you beat the spread of 24?
Yeah, we did. 27-zip.
A lot of people lost some money on that shit.
27-zip. Well,
Good
it kept
deal.
getting delayed. So,
Because it rained like a big dog.
listen, Wednesdays are iRacing Bandit League on YouTube, and it's the final race of the season, and Dawson is driving the Phantom Facts car.
What?
Yeah. So I'll post pictures of that. It's pretty legit looking. The Phantom.
So
Facts
that's
car.
how he's tied it. Okay, nice.
Yeah. So
It's like an actual race, not like the virtual Z.
no,
race.
it's definitely virtual. I could not afford. to
Oh,
sponsor
okay.
a real race car. You
Yeah,
kidding me?
another really cool game
We're
I'm
bleeding
into
money
is,
here.
is Rev Racing. You can get cars
Deep
for
in the
like
red.
$2.
We're deep in the red. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook. Check out
TikTok.
our Patreon. We got gold. Yeah, TikTok for sure. Phantom Facts. Phantom_Facts on TikTok. We're up to I think 5,600 followers on TikTok. So
Nice.
Wow.
keep building it up. All right, gentlemen. Have a good rest of your day. And
In honor of the Queen. I'll see y'all later. Have a good one.
Have a good one.
Football kicks off in 6 minutes.
Can't wait.